Welcome to Future Consideration. My name is Dan, that is Matt, and today we are looking at three teams who had losing records last season in 2015, but this year, with a good draft, they could make the playoffs. This feels totally realistic. What do these teams, who are these teams, and what do they have in common?
The Raiders, the Jaguars, and the Ravens.
Yeah.
They all have, obviously the Raiders and Jaguars are more similar. They've been laughingstocks for a decade or so. They have young quarterbacks who are going to be entering into year three. But there's also the similarity when you throw the Ravens in, they also have an established quarterback. They have that franchise quarterback. That is the biggest box to check. And they've also got GMs who've been patient about constructing a roster and coaches who are, well, just to put it nicely, not Jeff Fisher. You're like, hey, there's actually an upside of like this team playing up to its talent.
Right, absolutely. And interestingly enough, a couple of these teams had first rounders who were injured for all of or most of last season, so actually have a really nice infusion of talent already coming in this season.
Yeah.
So where are we starting?
Let's start with the Raiders because I think they have the most promise. They've had ordinarily, it doesn't make a lot of sense to make a huge splash in free agency.
Right.
Raiders and Jaguars needed to spend in order to reach a certain percentage of cap space filled.
Yes.
And what they added in free agency is really good. Kelechi Osemele as at guard is going to make them have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
Linebacker Bruce Irvin, who was never really reached his full potential as a Seahawk. He's going to be rejoining Ken Norton Jr., his former linebackers coach. Malcolm Smith went from the Seahawks to the Raiders last year. All he did was lead the Raiders with tackles and with 122. So you see maybe Bruce Irvin takes a big step rushing across the field from Khalil Mack. 15 sacks last year and getting better. This is going to be a team with a lot of promise on defense and kind of already set on offense.
Yeah.
They have some needs. They do have. They're the rare team that's set at quarterback and offensive line. Probably not going to go with a wide receiver. They've got Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree.
Last year, yeah.
So they probably have a hole at cornerback, although they did add Sean Smith and Reggie Nelson to solidify their secondary. But they probably use an inside linebacker and maybe some defensive line help. The present DTs they've got are good at taking up space, but not really so much at penetration.
They need next level guys.
Basically, on the defense, in the center of the defense, maybe at cornerback.
Yeah, I would love to see them at 14, grab Darren Lee, maybe Sheldon Rankins, really bolster the interior of that defensive front, free things up for Khalil Mack, who is a scary man. Yes, he is so good. Later on in the draft, even somebody like Derrick Henry, Devontae Booker, a dress running back, don't do it maybe in the first or second round. Derrick Henry in silver and black would look nice.
Running behind that offensive line.
Running behind that line. I think that's a nice win for the Raiders.
That's a pipe dream. I've also seen cornerback Eli Apple
from Ohio State.
Mocked to the Raiders, and I think that'd be a fine pick for them as well.
Yeah, he seems like he could be a rotation guy right away, as most of these guys seem like they could be in the opening rounds. Who's our next team?
Jaguars, very similar to the Raiders, but with just a little bit more in the way of needs. Now, you mentioned getting back first rounders.
Dante Fowler,
Dante Fowler and the Jaguars are picking fifth. And mostly we've seen them getting Joey Bosa or Miles Jack in the draft. Either one of those fits a need. Edge rusher or middle linebacker. Miles Jack can play pretty much anywhere.
Yes.
But you're looking at a team that's going to get Dante Fowler and one of Joey Bosa or Miles Jack, presumably. That's going to instantly improve basically any defense in the NFL, especially the Jaguars need help there. But they've also added Malik Jackson and Kelvin Beachum in the offseason, and that's going to improve their team. I really think that with Blake Bortles continuing to mature, they're in great shape to make the playoffs next year. Who do you see them adding? They could also use some help at center as well.
They could use help at center. Jack Allen is somebody that makes sense. I don't think
Probably
Ryan Kelly. Second or third round. I don't think Ryan Kelly is going to be around after the first round. But yeah, I think edge rusher, even with Dante Fowler coming back, I think that's going to be a big thing to give the sort of weight or take weight off of Malik Jackson on the outside. So I could see somebody maybe like Yannick Ngakoue, hard name to say, but from Maryland, Emmanuel Ogbah from Oklahoma State, guys that are more pass rushing specialists, even somebody like Carl Nassib from Penn State. I think that makes a ton of sense. And on the inside, yes, you mentioned linebacker. If they grab Miles Jack, that's a huge win. But there's actually, it's a pretty deep draft in terms of playmaking linebackers. Joe Schobert, Scooby Wright, these are guys that could be around in the third or fourth round. I like them.
And I should also note the Jaguars secondary has been much maligned, but one of the best things you can do for a secondary is create a pass rush.
Rush that passer,
and Dante Fowler and Joey Bosa or Miles Jack type is going to do a lot for that secondary.
They'll get to do it a couple of times against whoever ends up playing quarterback for Houston, I'm assuming Brock Osweiler. So good for them.
Yeah. And then our last team, the Ravens, obviously postseason stalwarts for kind of like the last several years, obviously recent NFL champions. but really fell off last year, 5-11, but 9 of those games were by 1 score or less. They were wrecked with injuries, and this is a team that always has faith in what it's doing with compensatory picks. They have 7 picks in the first 4 rounds. That is
so
astounding.
Nice. Yeah.
And they've got some holes to fill. They did add Eric Weddle and Mike Wallace, and Mike Wallace is a limited player, but he does certain things very well.
It feels like a transitionary time. Terrell Suggs is pretty old. He's not getting any younger. It feels like they need to really infuse
They do need to add a pass rusher,
right,
especially with Suggs on the downslope. They're set at wide receiver because they're getting Brashad Perriman, last year's first rounder, back into the fold. And but yeah, I would love to see them get some help on the offensive line to replace Osemele, or even just upgrade from Eugene Monroe at tackle. Who do you think they should go for?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anybody worth taking really early when it comes to a guard playing inside. But yeah, somebody like Vidal Alexander, Christian Westerman makes sense. A lot of strength with Westerman. He was one of those guys that has a video of him like benching 900 pounds. So that's always fun. I could see them taking DeForest Buckner, Joey Bosa, a playmaker that not only can get after the passer but can open things up for everybody else.
DeForest Buckner, the Ravens, of course, play in the 3-4. Buckner is suited to be an end rusher in a 3-4, a DE in a 3-4. That would be a great fit, and he's been mocked there a lot. I would think that'd be a great fit for them.
Yeah, and they are not that deep at inside linebacker, so that's another team. Joe Schobert, maybe Scooby Wright, somebody like that could be around later on. I think that's a big win. Somebody's name I like to say, Tyler Matakevich, was great last season, so he could help out, and it would feel like a steal that Ozzie Newsome obviously found this great college player in like the 2nd or 3rd round.
So those 3 teams, the Raiders, the Ravens, the Jaguars, are 3 teams that we think are going to make the leap from losing team to playoff team with the right draft. What do you think? Let us know in the comments.
Yes, and of course, subscribe to the SB Nation YouTube page. Hit that like button. Let's catch up in the comments.